Walking in the bush, walking in the bush. There is nothing quite like it, walking in the bush.
Alright, so for our last video for 11 PDHPE outdoor recreation, we are looking at the dot point understanding strengths and weaknesses and why it is important during an outdoor expedition for members and leaders to be able to identify strengths and weaknesses to with all people that are involved to make sure that everyone's got the best possible opportunity to achieve their best. So on the left hand side of the syllabus, we are looking at the dashes today being participant readiness, self-efficacy, balancing challenge and safety, and pushing the comfort zone. On the right hand side, we need to debate questions such as how do you control risks when participants are encouraged to push the comfort zone? And what ethical considerations confront a leader in balancing challenge and safety? Let's do it. All right, so our first one is looking at participant readiness. So when the members are getting ready to go on an outdoor expedition or experience, what are the things that they need to be aware of? So first of all, each member should be self-aware of their own strengths and weaknesses, okay? A person who is good at abseiling rock climbing may not necessarily be good at canoeing. So when it comes to that type of aspect in an activity, they should obviously apply their strengths where possible. So if we're doing abseiling rock climbing, that person will, one, be good at it, but two, they should also mentor other people in the group who may find that as a weakness of theirs. And then vice versa, if they go canoeing, they need to not act like they know what they're doing and sort of be like, okay guys, I'm not very good at canoeing, can you help me? So what some members see as challenging and fun does not necessarily mean it's challenging and fun for everybody, okay? Some people may genuinely be terrified. Personally, I don't like heights, okay? I don't like rock climbing, I don't like abseiling. If I can avoid it, I will. And some people are gonna be the same. And some people just look at me and laugh and be like, whatever, you're weak. But, so what? But canoeing, don't care, go for it, whatever. Water's okay, I can swim. I just don't wanna fall. That would be bad. So, the leader needs to be aware of what is the strengths and weakness of its members. The leader needs to be aware that if people are going to be terrified in experience, that they're obviously going to need more encouragement, they're going to need more help, possibly be doing things as partnerships as opposed to just doing it solo, like someone who finds it as a strength would do. The leader also needs to ensure that all members are adequately equipped, so like the equipment that they have to use during the expedition, and also they're adequately skilled. So if there is going to be something like abseiling, rock climbing, canoeing, kayaking, whatever it is during the outdoor experience, that prior to going on that experience, it is the leader's job to make sure that the participants are ready, they have the right skills, they have the right knowledge, so that they can participate safely and hopefully have an enjoyable experience. All right, so our next dot point is looking at, or dash I should say, is self-efficacy, right? So letting group members do their own thing. So members should be challenged when they're in outdoor recreation experiences, because challenge, when we find something hard, it builds character and it builds confidence and it makes us better people, it makes us stronger people. So we grow from challenge. You don't grow from not challenging yourself. People who just sit on the couch all day and watch TV, they don't have any personal growth. They don't have any growth of any sort except maybe their waistband because they're not doing anything and they're probably just eating lots of food. Anyway, that's a segue. So we do want to challenge our members during our outdoor experiences. However, and this is where the whole balance and the whole aspect of this video comes in, is that you need to balance the challenge and balance the risk, okay? Too much challenge may pose too much risk and therefore it becomes a dangerous situation. But if it's not enough challenge, then, and the risk is extremely low, then they may not get any growth at all out of it. It may just be an activity to do and it wasn't even fun because there was no challenging aspects. So, and this is the balancing act that we've got to look at, and I'll delve into that a little bit more in the next dash. But anyway, moving on. So the group leader needs to monitor all individuals for risk in the situation. And if they foresee some risk, then they probably need to step in and assist when necessary. So remember, looking at the strengths and weaknesses of our members, some members, and we'll go back to the rock climbing example, some members who are strong and experienced with rock climbing won't need to be heavily monitored, okay? They'll be able to do their own thing, and generally those type of people, if they do make a mistake, they'll be able to self-correct. Whereas the group leader will probably need to monitor people who find rock climbing as a weakness much more heavily, because they'll probably need help maybe every single step of the way, up or down, depending on what direction you're moving. The most important part about self-efficacy is not letting the individual feel like a failure. Okay? If they feel deflated, then that's going to leave a negative taint on the experience, and then they probably don't want to go on an outdoor experience again, which would be a real shame. So self-efficacy, looking at making members, make their own decisions, trying to give them enough personal aspect for them to challenge themselves without you hand-holding them the whole way, but also not letting them feel like they've completely failed and they give up. It's tricky. So, and that's why being the leader is the most important part, because you need to, and you need the most experience, because you need to really nut out this balance. So balancing challenge and safety is the third dash. So just fleshing out what I was just talking about. So the experience of the members in the group, the skills that they have, or prior experience and skills, the equipment that they have available, the weather that's currently occurring, and the fitness levels of the individuals. So these types of things will all contribute to how challenging an experience is, right? So for example, if we were just going on a bushwalk, okay, to a campsite and then back out again, that would be much easier if it was like nice cool temperature but not raining, everything was nice and dry, everyone was nice and fit, the backpacks all fitted well, everyone had proper shoes, and everyone knew the walkie trail. You take that same walk, okay, let's keep the weather the same, let's keep everyone's fitness the same, all right? But the backpacks are all shabby, they're falling off, and you need to keep adjusting them all the time. People don't have the correct shoes, so they're slipping over. Maybe they're getting a little bit of dampness through to their socks, okay? And other bits of equipment like compasses, mobile phones, all that kind of stuff isn't working either. So that's going to, same experience, mostly the same outcomes, but different components here and there are going to make that more challenging. So challenge and risk needs to be acceptable to ensure personal growth and enjoyment. When you go and do an activity, like a swimming carnival, for example, which I've just run, there is a bit of risk there, okay? And even though I do a risk management plan and we talk about all the things that we can do if someone is drowning or struggling to swim, etc., there's no 100% guarantee that someone won't drown. But we call that acceptable risk because all of the things that we're going to put in place to ensure that if somebody does struggle, that we can help them out. And therefore they end up doing the activity anyway and having a good time. So it is a very fine balancing act, okay? Now, so I've drawn this up little seesaw thing, and I should have put the words on top of the seesaw, but whatever, I'm going with the flow. This is a seesaw of risk. More risk is on this side and less risk is on this side. If activities are too risky, so they have too much risk associated with them, the activity becomes dangerous. The members doing activity don't find it fun at all. In fact, they're scared. They're terrified. They don't want to do this. This is ridiculous. Like, zero fun is had, and in fact, there's probably tears and crying and screaming and all that kind of stuff, right? On the other side of the seesaw, let's make the activity 100% completely safe. But if it's completely safe and it's not challenging at all, it's not hard, then it's boring. And then it just feels like tedious, right? It's just something that you have to do as opposed to something that's actually enjoyable. So you really have to balance out challenge and safety to ensure that the personal growth of the individuals occurs and they still have a fun, enjoyable experience. All right, so our last one is looking at pushing the comfort zone, all right? So the leader manages the high-risk situations that they can identify with our outdoor recreation experiences and should allow low-level risk situations to ensure challenge, growth, fun, etc. All the things I've already talked about in this video. Members who identify that they have weaknesses with certain aspects of the outdoor expedition should be assisted and be encouraged by the leader and all members, all right? So this is one of those maturity things we were just talking about in class earlier. So, it's all fun and games to hassle your mates or hassle your peers because they're not good at something, but that doesn't build character. It actually just brings people down, and it's really mean and horrible. So let's look at a common abseiling example. The leader knows that abseiling is risky, so he will identify the high risk things that could go wrong, or the things that basically, if they do go wrong, it's going to end up in a poor outcome, e.g. people die. So the leader will manage all that stuff himself. So for example, he's going to tie all the ropes. He knows he's got the skills, he's got the experience, he knows the right knots to use, he knows the right lengths to use, he knows the right type of rope to use. So he's going to do all of that stuff. He's also going to do all the harnesses. He's going to make sure that the harnesses are all connected correctly, they're tied off to the ropes correctly, they're fitted on the individuals in the correct manner. And he's also going to check all the little bits like the carabiners and stuff. So the bits that connect the ropes and the harnesses together, he's going to make sure that they're all in good quality, they're not going to break, and he's going to ensure that every aspect of abseiling is completely safe and acceptable. Then all the members simply have to do is connect up, so clip the carabiner onto their harness and abseil. All right. So by doing this, the leader is ensuring that the high risk situations have been managed, but it's still providing the members themselves with the challenge of the actual experience, okay? If the leader did tie the ropes, checked all the harnesses, checked the carabiners, and then one by one put the members on his back and then abseiled down the rock himself and then just dropped them off at the bottom, then the members probably wouldn't think that was fun at all. In fact, that's just a bit tedious, right? Because they're not being challenged, they're simply just hanging on. Bit boring. The leader will also, during this experience, for people that have weaknesses, encourage them, okay? He'll keep reminding them, or she will keep reminding them, there's no rush, okay? Take your time. It doesn't matter if it takes you 2, 5, 10 minutes to take one step down the wall. There's no rush, all right? Just focus on the experience. Personal growth, member growth can take a little bit of time, so we're gonna be patient with our members. And then if they need help, the leader will help, or the other members who are strong in the activity will help without hassle. So that means that instead of someone's on the abseiling wall, they get halfway down, they're like, I can't go any further, I can't go any further. And a poor leader will be like, oh, fine, I'll come get you. All right, and just sort of make a big deal of it and be like, you're so pathetic. You were nearly there, you just had a couple more steps to go, you wimp. But the leader will be like, nah, that's cool, let's do it. Climbs up, helps him down, be like, all right, do you want to try again? Or something, so helping without hassle. Pushing the comfort zone. So pushing that comfort zone is where the growth will occur, where the challenge occurs, where the fun happens, and then it becomes a memorable experience for years to come. So that's the end of our Understanding Strengths and Weaknesses video and why they're important when doing outdoor recreation experiences. And overall, that is the end of our outdoor recreation unit for preliminary PDHPE. Thanks, bye.